everybody, welcome back to the Gen Z channel. We are hustling today. Thank you for tuning in. If you're new to my channel, hit that subscribe button right there. Also hit that notification button so that you know when I post a new video. So let's get this video rolling. Today we are actually going to load up Toyotas again. Last video I posted, I loaded up Toyotas and I was heading down to Georgia. I didn't record after that until now. I came back up to Cincinnati and now I'm picking up Georgetown again, taking it down to Georgia. So this morning we woke up, we did 2 drop-offs. Last drop-off was in Dayton and then I dead-headed down to Georgetown. I was gonna stop and shower before I load, but I figured what's the point, I might sweat a little here. So let's go load this load up, get it on the truck, and then we're gonna stop by at the Pilot here off of the same exit. We're gonna fill up, we're gonna shower, and we're gonna grab something to eat. So let's get right into the video. We're here in Georgetown, a bunch of guys loading up on my ride over here. Our cars are down there. Georgetown installed these yellow curbs here recently so that you can back up with your trailer over to the curbs and not roll away or not damage the transmission or something like that. I don't know exactly what reason they're here for, but something to do with that. So we gotta drive over these yellow curbs with all of our 18 wheels and it gets pretty bumpy, so we go slow. Also, you gotta be precise about parking the trailer either with your last axle over the curb or leave the curb in between your 2 trailer axles. I like to put it in between the 2 trailer axles because they stack cars up to the fence over here, and then if a truck parks next to you, he can't get around you. So if I'm back 1 axle, I'm a little further back and that gives more room for guys to swing around. This guy right here, currently he has his last axle to the curb and he's kind of sticking out a little, so if a guy parks right next to him, he won't be able to make that swing around him because those cars are in the way. Might have to go move a vehicle, so that's why I parked 2 spots away from him so I have plenty of space. So we're parked, gotta throw that PTO on so that our hydraulics work to lift the trailer up and down. So we gotta put it in drive over here while holding the brake, then we put the PTO on while holding the brake, then we put it back in neutral while holding the brake. Now we can let go of the brake. Pick up our RPMs, let's get out there, let's put these cars on. So at this place we gotta wear our high vest because that's a requirement here. Next I grab my gloves and my stick. I come around here and I slide my stick to that side under the trailer, just like that. It disappeared. So here's the curbs that I'm talking about that you drive over with your trailer, truck, drives, steers, everything at once. And I park it like this. I didn't back up to it, but I left that axle behind that little curb so that I'm not sticking out as much in the front. And this guy right here, he has it up to his back axle. Maybe that's the proper way to do it, but just for the sake of getting around other trucks, I'm gonna leave it like that. So typically with these loads, we put a smaller car over here. So I raise up this right here. It's lower down right now, and I raise it because we're gonna put a sedan. And if we put a sedan here and put the wheels back here, it's gonna be sitting too low and it's gonna touch the bottom of the car. So let's raise those up. Just like that, now it's level. I'm gonna come around here, slide open my ramps, lower down this top deck, and get it ready to drive vehicles on the truck. come this way, and we like to slide the tail out at the bottom so that we can lower the top rack on the bottom ramps. The reason why I slide it out is I don't want it to lay down on the aluminum ramps. I want it to lay down on the steel sliding ramps so that we don't bend our aluminum ramps, and that is the proper way to do it. So usually that lever to slide up out the back of the trailer is all the way on the left side. This one right here, that one slides it out, that one slides it in. Now we want to lower the top of the back trailer, and our top deck is these 4 red ones. So now we're going to lower the really back position down just by pulling it. There we go, that's simple. And now we need to meet this position with that position. So that one is right over here on the really right. Raise it up, and then we're gonna slide it to the sleeper position. So our sliding one is this lever right here. Now we have these 2 positions met, and we can drive 2 cars onto the top of the truck. Before I do that though, we're gonna move some straps out of the way so that we don't drive over them. Also, moving these straps out of the way helps us for later when we're going to be putting vehicles up here. That way they're not in the way and you don't accidentally park the vehicle on top of the strap. So we're going to come over to the other side, fix the straps on that side, and then go grab the vehicle and start driving it on. So we found our first vehicle. It's a Toyota Camry, black one. We're going to be putting this on the first position backwards. We just got to make sure that it doesn't have a big spoiler on the back, or else the spoiler can fly off. So I drove it up to this position and I stopped because I like to get up here and then fix my pockets where the back wheels are going to be sitting in. We had a bigger vehicle in over here, so we had our pockets extended out. Now we got to close them, or else our wheels are going to sink in too much and we won't be able to drive out with front wheel drive of this vehicle. And we're going to do the same to the other side and drive the vehicle on here now. Now we got the vehicle in the position we need it to be in, so I put it in park, and I also either push in the e-brake, this one has a push, or pull in the electric e-brake all the time on every vehicle. We gotta turn our flashers off, close the window, and shut the ignition off, and this car is ready to be strapped in. So here's the back wheel of the vehicle. As you can see, it did not dip into any hole, and we are good with bumper clearance here. So that is why we slide it in all the way. Now we're just gonna take these straps that are on the side, throw it over all 4 wheels, and move on to loading our second vehicle. So throwing the straps on, there's not much to it. You just throw it around the wheel, put it as close as you can in a hole next to the wheel, which I'm having an issue with this one. I'm doing it with one hand. Just like that. And then from this side, we grab the hook as well and put it as close as we can to the wheel. Fix the strap, stretch it out, make it tight, and then tighten the roller at the bottom there. So we have our second vehicle on here. It goes on as easy as butter. We just gotta put the straps on. I like to leave this car further back on the second position so that we can make better height. So basically, there's the pockets on the second position. I don't even drive up to them. I stop before them with the front wheels, and the back wheels kind of leave them on the edge. It's always best, especially if you have enough space of trailer length to throw 3 cars in behind you. Just leave this car back and you'll always have better height. The only way that you would want to put it up further up there is if you had super long vehicles and you couldn't make the length between the trailer and the truck, so then you'd have to put it up higher, and then that would kind of make your vehicle sit up higher. You'll have a little bit higher height. So second position is on. Let's throw the straps on and tighten them up, because then we're gonna have to pick up this position and put a car underneath it. So now we're on this side of the truck. We gotta lower that down a little bit so that we can reach it with the stick and tighten those back wheels, and we're gonna tighten everything on the truck as well. Then we're gonna lift this position up, put a car underneath here. So I'm gonna come to the levers here and lower the back a little bit more. So we got our second position tightened. Now we're gonna tighten the first one, and then we're gonna raise up the second one and slide that trailer part down here so we can load that car at the bottom. So we got that position tightened, this position tightened. This position we're working on, we picked up the bottom ramp. Also, we always throw our hook into this hole right here, right after this slope. And you park the car as soon as you drive over the hook. With basically any vehicle, sedan, SUV, every time you drive over this hook where it's free, that's when you stop. And with most cars, you should fit perfectly behind here. Let's go throw that car on under the sleeper. So we have a Camry underneath a RAV4. We're gonna have perfect height over here with these two vehicles. Also, this is how I left the car. Like I said, you drive over the hook with the back wheel. And if you come back here, you can see we have a lot more space to the sleeper. So I could have went a little more, but just to be safe, I always just park right after the hook. With this easy loader 80-foot truck, we don't have an issue with turning radius space, so I'm gonna leave it like this. Just gonna throw the straps on, lower the top deck down, lock the pins in, and then we're gonna be done with the truck. I like to always complete the truck before I move on to the trailer, because that makes it more professional for me, and I tend to not forget things in that type of way. That's just my routine. Tighten these two straps. We're gonna lower the top deck right after this, and then we're gonna walk over to the other side, put the straps on, tighten them, and also lock the pins all around as we're tightening the other side. So straps are tightened. Time to lower this deck down. So we had a taller vehicle on here with the last load, and we have our pins locked up higher. We're basically gonna put it right here for now, and I think we should make good height here. This one is gonna stay in this exact position. I'm gonna come over here, slide the trailer in, put it in its position, and then we're gonna work on the other side of that car behind sleeper. So the reason why I slid in this position before I went and worked on the other side, now I can pick up my stick and cross through here with no issue instead of walking around the whole truck. Alright, so we did everything on the other side of the vehicle, including locking our pin in. So now we're just gonna lower this top car down until it hits the pins. Just like that. And just like that. Rule of thumb, always leave more than a fist of space over here. If it gets tight, you can leave just one fist, but I am with perfect height here, and we have two shorter vehicles here, so we're gonna be under 13.6 here. Next, we're gonna be working on the trailer. Our truck is fully complete. We don't have to do anything else to the truck except for measure the height later. Now, we're gonna load 3 cars onto the top of the truck, and the way I like to do it, load the 3 cars on first, and then put the straps on, just in case you gotta move something, but it's also quicker that way, because then when you get out of the car, you start from this side and you walk around this side, putting the straps on, and then you start tightening from here and finish on the other side, and you are done tightening all the vehicles at once. So less walking around the truck, quicker timing, it's just better that way. Now we're gonna fit 3 cars on here. It shouldn't be too hard because the Camrys aren't crazy long and we have a long enough trailer to fit them all comfortably. So we got our first car on the trailer. Typically I leave this car on further up on the truck, but today I decided I'm gonna leave it further back. So that means I have to not drive as far back with this one so that we have 2 feet of clearance space between these 2 cars when we're turning. So the way that I left it on here, I just drove over this roller right here and I stopped, and usually I would drive it so that I can throw the hook into this hole right before the sliding part, but today we're gonna leave it here. We got enough space on the trailer, so it's fine. Alrighty, so I got the last 3 cars on the trailer, and here's what we did. We already put the straps on. We raised the tail a little bit, which we're supposed to do. Over here we got good clearance, good distance for turning radius. Next time I will need to put this vehicle up a little more so that we can freely drive into our regular spots with these 3 vehicles, but we still have no issue putting them on a little bit more that way on the trailer. So here's the strap on first one, and we just drove past the roller and we were able to throw the strap on over that wheel. We got good space right here. Typically I would drive into the center of these pockets, but like I said, we left that second position too far back. It's still fine. You can load it like this, no issue. Height wise will be perfect. So here's the second wheel. We got this one also right up to this last roller, and we put the strap over here and put it into one of our flippers right here. This strap right here, no issue as well. We have a RAV4 in the back. It's a little bit shorter, not as long as the 2 Camrys in front of it, and we still got plenty of space. Like, check out between these 2 cars, we got enough space here, enough space there, so no issue with the 80-footer. I like to throw the hook into the really last hole of this position, and before we do any tightening, I lift up the back end a little bit, as you can see, so that our wheels fall back, because if you tighten it while it's lowered, this is going to be bouncing around more the whole entire ramp, because like if you pick it up, the wheel falls down a little bit more, but if you have it lowered, the wheel comes up a little bit more. So this is the proper way of doing it. Let's get on these cars and let's tighten them, and we just got 3 more to load at the bottom. So as I mentioned earlier, we start from the other side on this wheel. We come around this way, put all the straps on, and then we grab our stick and we start tightening from this way to the back and then around to the other side, and that way we don't get confused on which one we tightened, which one we didn't. So we go in order. So we got everything tightened at the top, came back around from that side, crossed through the middle of the truck, came over here. Now we're gonna lift up this whole top position and we're gonna lift it evenly, and then we're gonna load 3 cars at the bottom. 3 cars at the bottom are gonna be only Camrys, so it's gonna be super easy to place them down there. Let's get this lifted for now. So we got the top lifted up. Now we're just gonna walk around, move all the straps out of the way, put them in the correct position so that we can tie them down quickly. As we get to this middle part of the trailer, we got these pins right here. I typically pick it up to this 4th hole from the bottom for a sedan, because this controls on how high this platform goes up or down. We want to lock it in here because when we lower this platform down, the front wheels are going to be right here, and we don't want to hit the undercarriage with this part of the trailer. So that's why we're leaving it a little bit higher. With bigger cars, you put this in the lowest hole, then it lowers this part even more, and you'll technically have more clearance space with bigger SUVs and vehicles like that. But for now, we put it in the 4th hole, move all the straps away, and drive the car in to the belly first. This part of the trailer is called the belly because it's the belly of the trailer. This is where we put the biggest vehicles. Then we come around to the other side of the truck and we do the same thing as well. So usually right under this bolt is good for any type of sedans. Move the straps, And we have our last 3 cars pulled up to the truck. So for the really back position of the trailer, we also have pins right here, but I'm gonna show you how I use those once the last car is on the trailer, because we also gonna have to lower this back part down, and we gotta lock these pins in place so that it doesn't lower any further. So first car is in at the bottom of the trailer. With this position, how I drive on, as soon as the door clears this bar right here, then you're good to stop. I pulled up a little bit more, but technically that's fine. We still got a lot of space in between here with this 80-foot setup. So as soon as the door opens, that's when you stop, and you'll have plenty of space to fit 2 more cars behind this one. So we just put on the middle car of the trailer, and same thing goes with this one. When you back it in, you stop as soon as this door gets close to here so that it clears that bar as well. And that way, you know, you still got this much space in between the cars. Typically for any car, SUV, sedans, that's how it works. Right before you reach this bar and the door opens, that's when you stop. Also, the roller is in a good spot here, so use that pointer next time you're loading this position. As soon as the door clears that and it's kind of close, then you're good to park it there. So now we got our last car on, our final car, finally. It's not too bad outside, but still you can break a little sweat doing this. We got the last car on. Now I start from that side, driver's side of the trailer. I walk around that side, I come around this side, putting all the straps on. Before I do that, I throw in my ramps, and then I go put the straps. So now that we're here with our last car, I was telling you about these pins. So all you gotta watch out for is how much space you have between the bumper and this section. So we have a good 2 to 3 fists, 2.5. So what we're gonna do is put this pin about a fist away. We wanna be at more than a fist over here. So we're gonna lower it down 1 more fist, and we're still gonna have a fist of clearance. So we're gonna put it in that right below that little dot. And I'm gonna do the same on the other side, and we should be clearing the bumper space good. So we got our height stick out right here. We finished tightening all the cars all around. Lowered the bottom deck to where it needs to be. Now we just gotta lower the top deck, make sure everything is more than a fist of clearance. We're gonna measure our height, and we're gonna be done here. So this is what I was talking about. This pin, we lowered this as much as we could, and now you can see we got a fist of jumping space here. It shouldn't touch that. And the bigger the vehicle you get, the lower down you can lower that to make better height. With these vehicles, we're really good height since they're all little cars. And I'm about to lock in pins. We got 6 pins to lock in, 3 on each side, and make sure they're over a fist of space, every part of the roof of each vehicle, and you're good that way. I like to count from this little hole so that I don't have to count all the holes. I go 2, 4, 6. And now we're gonna put in the 7th hole on the other side as well. We got all of our pins locked in. We got a lot more than a fist of space between each car and the roof and the top deck. Everything is locked in place, everything is lowered. We have this section right here lowered as well, and we have more than a fist of jumping space for the bumper. We just gotta measure the height, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna be under 13.6 everywhere. Well, look at that, just easy as that. Just follow the steps that I told you, and you should have no issues. This is a really easy load that I loaded. Now all that's left is to measure the height, get in the truck, drive 7 hours, and deliver these puppies. Not much, right? But yeah, let's get at it. So we finished loading up, we're back in the truck. We broke a little sweat like always, but I measured the height. We actually have a really low height. We only got 13.2 on the 2nd position. Everything else is under 13 feet on the truck. So perfect height, super easy load, super easy steps. The way that I do it, if you guys do it the same way, you shouldn't have no issue. Let's get up in the air and let's show you some aerial footage of this load, and let's hit the road. want to talk about some positions of the trailer and why we put them forwards or backwards. So here's a picture of my loaded truck. Second position, first position, you always want to put it backwards. You're always going to have optimal height. The only reason you'd put it forward is if it's a sedan and it has a big spoiler, then you put it forward. Besides that, any bigger vehicle that you're putting on the first position, which is over the hood of the truck, you put it backwards. Second position always goes on forward. You don't want to put it backwards because your trunk is going to be sticking up into the air way too high. Also, when you lower down the back wheels, your trunk is going to keep going down further in height, lower. You're going to have better height there. Sixth position, which is behind the sleeper at the bottom. The reason we call it the sixth is because when you look at the truck from the top to the back, there's 5 positions, and then on the bottom part of the trailer, there's 4 positions. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the top, 6, 7, 8, 9 at the bottom. Sixth position, you put it backwards because your back wheels sink down a little lower. You can make best height there as well. Also, you want to lower the top car over the hood of that car so that you can have the best height on the second position. So then on the trailer, we get to third, fourth, and fifth position. Third position, I always put it backwards, whether it's SUV or sedan, unless it has a bigger spoiler. And the reason it goes on backwards is because once the trailer is already up in the air, the back wheels closer towards the truck are going to be lower, and your trunk is going to be hidden down a little bit more than, let's say, if you drove it on further, the back wheels would be higher and your trunk would be sticking up in the air. So it goes on backwards. Middle position of the trailer always goes on backwards as well, just because of the trunk situation. If you put it on forward, your back wheels are going to be way too high in the air. I see guys do this all the time, and then they have way too high of a height, and then they end up having to reload because they put it on incorrectly. So fourth position on the middle of the trailer always goes on backwards as well. Then you get to the fifth position. Fifth position obviously goes on forward for best height. So the first position in the belly is called the seventh position by number, and we always put it forward. Maybe you can guess why. The reason you put it forward is because the top part of the trailer kind of goes over the windshield as well. You don't want to put it backwards because then your third position will be too tall. Middle of the trailer, always put it backwards so that you can put the windshield down on a slope and have the best height over there as well. The ninth position, well, the ninth position always varies. I personally always put it backwards, but when it comes to a sedan, smaller vehicle, I always put it forward, just because we'll have good height anyways. But the reason I like to put it backwards on the ninth position is because you will always win an extra couple inches of clearance space with the car that's on top of it, because when you're putting it backwards, you're putting the sloped windshield up against the back wheels of the vehicle that are on top of you. Sounds confusing, but the vehicle that's on top of that vehicle, you lower the back wheels over the windshield, and anytime you lower the back wheels of a vehicle that's on top of something, it's gonna bring down your height the best, because the windshield always slopes in a certain way where the more you put the back wheels down, the better height you'll have. A lot of people always say, no, it's not true, putting it forward is better. I've tried it forward and backwards. I personally took the time to do it both ways, and putting the car backwards at the bottom, whether it's a 8-car load, whether it's a 9-car load, you always win better height with the number 5 position that's on top of it. So that's the summary of me loading 9 cars. I hope you learned something out of that. As you can see, not too hard, not too easy, but if you're new to car hauling, of course, this is all going to seem really complicated for you. But being experienced, me personally, 3.5 years already, this was a super easy load. It doesn't get any easier than that. The last thing I want to talk about is the biggest and most important thing that you can do to protect yourself against paint damages from vehicles. I didn't show you in the videos, but I was doing really good, thorough inspections, walking around each vehicle before I pulled it out of the spot to put it on my trailer. So the reason you want to do a good inspection is because sometimes these cars can come with flaws, like little scuffs or scratches, or somebody brushed up against it and you didn't. And if you don't notice it and you put it on your truck, you deliver it, it's going to be on you. They're going to say that you did that. You can't really prove yourself that you didn't do it, because a lot of minor scuffs and scratches like that are kind of hard to notice. Even if you didn't take pictures of it and you didn't take a close-up picture, you won't even notice it. So do a really good walk through thorough inspection. Every door, every bumper, check the windshields for any cracks. Make a really good inspection because you don't want to have to pay those damages out of your pocket. And yes, in car hauling, if you miss a damage or if you do a damage, you end up paying out of your pocket, and it can hurt. Whether it's insurance covers it or you pay it yourself, most of the time when it's a smaller damage, you don't want to put on insurance because the insurance is just going to have too much bad stuff against you later. So that's the final part of the video of loading 9 cars on an easy loader trailer. I hope you enjoyed it, but that's the way that I load a 9-car hauler easy loader trailer. If you enjoyed that video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thank you everyone for your support, and I'm gonna catch you guys in the next video.